We got KnicksFanTV.com's own Alex Rotaro, Stratocaster in the building, and the newest edition of KnicksFanTV.com also writes for Hoops Habit. Also has his own Knicks podcast as well. Chip Murphy. Chip, how you doing, man? Welcome aboard, bro.
I'm great, CP. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Welcome to the team. And, tonight's episode, we're going to do two things. Number one, we're going to touch on more of the Sexton trade rumors. We did talk about it earlier last week with Evan Damerell from Locked On Cavs. So we want to get more fan reactions to the Sexton trade rumors. And, Chip, you also wrote an article, your debut article for KnicksFanTV.com on the Sexton rumors. So let's pick it up right there, man. What did you think when you heard about it, and what do you think the Knicks should do as far as Collin Sexton is concerned?
Well, when I heard about it, I was actually surprised that he was even available. I didn't think that he would be so readily available because he just averaged 24 points a game. And then I figured when I saw his name linked to the Knicks, I was like, I don't know about this because I figured, they'd ask for like Quickley or Mitch. And then I was like, why are so many people out on this so quickly? Because then I saw Obi Toppin, Kevin Knox. I'm in. Yeah, let's do this. I love Obi Toppin as much as the next guy.
Yeah.
I really love him, but he plays the same position as Julius Randle, so that makes him much more tradable than anybody else that I just mentioned, Quickly or Mitch. So, but as far as getting Sexton on the team, I know people are nervous about getting a new player, especially when you have to pay him so quickly. But look, just because he's due for a max extension doesn't mean you have to pay him that. Not everybody's gonna get the $160 million contract they deserve or that they think they deserve. Now, as far as how Collin Sexton can help the Knicks, though, he is extremely aggressive. He was top 10 in the league in drives per game this year. We know Tibbs loves that in a point guard.
Tibbs kind of guy.
Exactly. That's why Elfrid Payton started this year. And as far as Tibbs kind of guys, he is an incredible worker. If you look up stuff about his work ethic, he was an unrated recruit after his junior year in high school. Like no one knew who he was, and he worked so hard to his workouts were like 3 hours long. He went to skills workouts. He couldn't leave until he made 300 jump shots. If you look it up, his high school workouts are insane, and he works out just as hard now. And he turned himself into a lottery pick. And Cavs fans have all these stories about how he's, that's his thing. Like he works out really hard, and he's improved in the league. He really has gotten better, and I just think he would help the Knicks a lot. I wrote in the piece is the Knicks offense is terrible.
Yeah.
They just need guys who can put the ball in the basket. Yeah, and that's what Collin Sexton does. He scores. And look, I know what people are saying, good stats, bad team guy. Yeah, I get that that's the knock on him right now. But he averaged 24 points a game, 47% shooting. Yeah, it was a small 3-point clip, but he shot 40% on catch and shoot threes every one of his 3 years in the league. So he's proven he can shoot the ball off the catch. There's a big enough sample size. The one thing I will say he hasn't proven yet is that he can shoot off the three off the dribble. He still needs to show that. But he's proven he can shoot the three off the catch. He's proven he's a really legit mid-range shooter, especially pull-up mid-range. That would give the Knicks, him and RJ, two legit mid-range options there, and Julius obviously too. But yeah, I think he's really came into his own this year as a passer. Not came into his own, but he improved this year as a passer, and I think he can get better. And obviously, the one that sticks out is the defense.
Yeah.
And I wrote this, if you make this trade, you're betting big on Tibbs and this coaching staff and Johnny Bryant that they can get the most out of Collin Sexton. And maybe the most important part of all of this, he's 22. There's a lot of guys in this draft who are older than him. There's still plenty of time for him to get better. Like, there's just so much potential there. I feel like you can get a lot out of him, especially a guy like who has the reputation of Johnny Bryant and the empty stats players. We used to say things like that about Devin Booker. We used to say things like that about Julius Randle.
Hey, we said it about Julius. We
Yeah.
said it about Julius.
Julius Randle, last year we were killing his defense.
Yeah.
Killing his defense. When he was with New Orleans, people were saying like, "Oh, what does it really matter that he's doing this?"
Yeah.
He's on the court with Anthony Davis, and I just you put him. I'd like to see him with better players before we start writing him off. Yeah. And his metrics are terrible. His metrics are absolutely terrible. I get that, and somebody on Twitter was pointing out like his box score plus minus for his career. Everyone, look it up. Everyone on the Cavs for the last 3 years has had atrocious box score plus minus. They've been the worst team in the league the last 3 years. So don't let that sway you on him, okay? Just don't let that sway you on him.
Yo, Al, man, Chip's debut on KnicksFanTV. He's dropping nothing but bars right now, nothing but facts.
Yo, man, he is going off.
Yeah,
first of all,
Chip,
you got to be my attorney if I'm ever in trouble, man. You will set me scot-free.
I fell in love with this kid, okay? I really like him.
You know what it is? Fellas? Listen, I'm like a lot of Knicks fans. It's the PTSD of making terrible trades in our past. Blowing big money on guys that are completely average or don't live up to the hype. We got PTSD, man. The last 20 years has shown that. It's hard to come around on these things, but you made a lot of good points, Chip. And what you're saying is, do we bet on Tibbs? And does he deserve the benefit of the doubt? This is the coach of the year. We didn't think Julius was going to come around. He has. We had no clue that this Knicks defense was going to play up to the way that they did this year, being at the top of the league consistently. And he's shown that. And as you said, 22 years old. I mean, now that might be a risk we had to take, man. That might be a risk we have to take. 24 points per game. Listen, I see a lot of question marks in his game. You know what I mean? I still think, yes, him being a nice scorer at all three levels for sure. I still feel like we got to be able to still emphasize ball movement in this lineup. It was too ISO dependent, and I thought that's where this offense definitely got stuck. And also defensively, being a 6'1" combo guard, how does he hold it down defensively against obviously all the dogs of the league are mainly on the perimeter. Does Tibbs find ways to protect him? Is RJ going to do some of the dirty work? Will Mitch be there to kind of cover up some of his mistakes if they make that trade? But it might be a risk we have to take, man. I don't know. What's your takes, Al?
I would take that risk, honestly, because I think you got to look at what you're trying to. Who are we drafting? If it's that package, Kevin Knox, Obi Toppin, and the 19th pick, well, we already know what Knox is to a certain degree, and this is his last year of his contract. So if you're planning on extending him, which I don't, it doesn't seem like the Knicks may do just based on his performances the last couple of years. So I don't see that happening. Now we're talking about Obi Toppin. Sure, there's untapped potential, but who's in the same position that he's playing? Julius Randle. So unless you think that he's going to get 15 to 20 minutes every single night and Julius Randle's, still going to get his same amount of time that he earned this past season. We know Tibbs likes to play his best guys the most minutes. So unless you're thinking Tibbs can play some small ball five with either Randle or Toppin, that's a gamble you're trying to take. And then on top of that, what do you expect from the 19th pick this season? Right. Are you expecting to get a good role player? Because if that's the case, we don't know what the 19th pick could be. And we can't use past drafting. It's a different front office. We got Walt Perrin. We got a bunch of different guys in the office now who, as we've seen from Immanuel Quickley, hit a home run with him. Obi Toppin, he showed late into the season, especially when the playoffs came. But gambling on the 19th pick to be just a role player is what you're really hoping for, right? That's the bar. It's just that hopefully a pick can just be a useful role player. If you get someone who's transcendent, that you hit, that's a home run hit. Finding like a Giannis, finding someone like a Klay Thompson, finding Steph Curry later in the round. So any one of those guys, that's a home run hit. That's very far and few between. So if you can get a good role player like Cam Johnson, like Mikal Bridges, if that's what you want, okay. But Collin Sexton, 24 points per game when we were in the playoffs, we didn't have anyone on the perimeter who was a scoring threat.
Yeah. We had Rose, but he just couldn't hold up. You know what I mean? We had
Yeah.
Rose and he just couldn't hold up.
Yeah, 25 minutes per game, and we saw what happened afterwards. It was tired. Like, don't get me wrong, admirable job by D Rose. He held it down for the team every single game he was on the court.
Yeah,
But outside of that, we didn't have anyone else. Reggie Bullock wasn't giving us anything. RJ
no,
Barrett was
nothing.
kind of quiet during that series. Alec Burks had one game for us, really,
Yeah,
maybe a
basically.
game and a half,
Yeah,
and then Immanuel Quickley, we didn't see anything until the last game, really. So, getting a 24-point per game score, it sounds like, sure, you could say empty stats. Sure, you could say, well, he's doing on a bad team. 24 points is 24 points. That is something. Not everyone can score 24 points on a bad team. Okay, we saw guys who couldn't do it on a nightly basis on a bad team. So Collin Sexton, I would take the gamble. I would take the risk. I think you're, like you said earlier, we're betting on Tibbs being a heavy influence. You're betting on Johnny Bryant to really grasp him and do what he did for Donovan Mitchell and for Damian Lillard. You know,
yep,
and I guess the other concern is, do you have to pay him?
right.
We got Brock Aller in the room. So if he knows something from being with the Cavs that we don't, maybe he knows that the market for Collin Sexton is that he's not going to get a max. I don't think he would get a max personally. Usually guys who I want to put him up there with like a Devin Booker, because if they're considering even moving him, then he's not a max player. If they knew they wanted him, they would have paid him like they did Devin Booker, like they offered for Donovan Mitchell, like they offered for a lot of other guys. So if they're questionable, I don't think that's going to be the market for him.
I
So if I'm the Knicks, I would take that gamble though.
Yeah, I think Chip, the price. Let's talk about the price, trade wise and salary wise, right? He still has one more year left on his deal. Now, what the experts are saying is that he's eligible for the rookie max extension, which would be 5 years, $168 million. If that's what he's looking for, I'm saying no thanks. But that's what he's eligible for. Obviously the Cavs don't want to give him that, but that's what he's eligible for. In terms of the trade package, though, just the rumored parameters of the deal, right? You know, on one end, you look at it, from the Cleveland fan, you look at what the Cleveland fans are saying. They're saying there's no way we take that deal. He's worth way more than that. Give me a break. Cleveland deserves more than that. He's 24-point per game scorer. But on the other hand, I'm thinking the fact that you have to trade for a quote unquote question mark in some areas and then have to pay him, I'm not so sure the market is as large as what Cleveland may be putting it out there to be. I think a lot of this could be smoke from Cleveland trying to increase his market value, because I'm not so sure there's a lot of teams that will want to, and I just froze. I'm not so sure there's a lot of teams that will want to hang tight. All right, should be back up and running right now. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. All right, should be back up and running right now. Testing 1 2 3. Technical difficulties. The system is malfunctioned, but we're back up and running. So as I was saying, Chip, on the price, just seems like, based on the fact that you got to trade for him and he's a question mark, and the fact that then you have to pay him. I'm not so sure the market for him is going to be that steep. So the Knicks could be in an advantageous situation just in terms of the leverage that they may have in a trade. And then as far as the trade parameters, obviously I'm not looking to push Obi out the door, but I've always felt like the whole Obi Randall thing just really didn't make much sense. I always thought that it had to be one or the other. I just don't feel like you're going to be able to maximize on Obi's talents and maximize on that asset by bringing him off the bench for 10 to 12 minutes a night. I just don't see that happening. We haven't seen Tibbs go with these guys in a small ball lineup together at all. In your article, you mentioned a total of 85 possessions that these guys have played with. So I just feel like a trade like that may be what the Knicks need to do to improve this team, because I don't see these saviors coming here, the Dames, the Bookers, and all that. I don't see that happening, man. I think this might be the type of move that the Knicks might have to make to improve this roster.
Yeah, it's like one of the first moves that starts it off, like to start off what needs to happen. Yeah, like he's a guy that maybe they could flip at a later date, or maybe could even be part of the future. Yeah, if he does improve to what I think he's capable of being. Like he's a really special talent, I think. And as far as the price, though, I think you hit it on the head with Obi Toppin. I think he is going to be a really good player, but he was drafted to be something that he's not capable of being anymore, because he's he can't start on this team because the player ahead of him, Julius Randle, is an all NBA player. So, I mean, there's no path to minutes. Like Julius Randle, Alex said earlier, Julius Randle's going to lead the league or finish in the top 3 in minutes again next year. And Tibbs is not a guy who's going to play small ball, really. I mean, he likes to have a rim protector on the court, and I don't think that's ever going to be Obi, and I don't think playing Julius at the small ball 5 is smart when he already has to work so hard on offense. I don't want to see him take a beating against opposing centers. I don't like that idea. So, yeah, I just don't see a path for the minutes for Obi. And as far as giving up the pick, are you going to draft a guy at 19 or 21 who in 3 or 4 years is going to be better than Collin Sexton is right now? What are the odds of that? Pretty slim, right?
Al, what you take on the rumored price paying Sexton? What do you think about that?
The rumored price of paying, like, for what, the draft capital?
Yeah, I mean, just based on the rumored deal in terms of right now, saying Kev, Obi, probably 19, maybe 21. What are you thinking about that? What do you think about just trading Obi and say a pick, right? Because Kev right now, nobody's really interested. And just to be real, that's my guy. But
I love him.
Like just
he seems like a great guy.
Yeah.
He really does.
It's just a name right now.
It's an unfortunate situation for Knox, especially with that second year not playing out to his favor, where his minutes were reduced and just a lot of – it was just a mess, honestly, just a mess. But I think if we're trading Obi and a pick, which is essentially the deal for Collin Sexton, you got to do it because I think we're not even just alluding to it. We're just saying it. It's that Julius Randle's here. I don't see Julius Randle taking a step back in the production that we saw this past season. I don't think it's a fluke. Do I think he can average the same numbers that he did? Maybe you're not going to get 41% again from 3. Maybe it goes down to 38. It might drop in some areas. It might increase. Who knows? But it's not going to be so far away where it's just, holy cow, we made a complete mistake on Julius Randle. He is just back to being the way that he was. I do not expect that to happen. And because of that, I think if you want to, if you were going to capitalize on what Obi's potential is, there's still some lore to what Obi could be as a player, what we saw in college. Yeah. So I think moving him now makes most sense if you don't see him getting major minutes on this team or being a true core piece or getting just anything where he's going to have a substantial role on this team. If he's just destined to be, a 10, 15 minutes guy, then what are we doing here with Obi? Might as well just move and try to capitalize on the value that he has and get a guy who can help the backcourt because that's where we're lacking right now. RJ doesn't have it in his bag yet. We know he's going to work with Drew Hanlon on off the dribble shooting, but still that's something that's going to be a little bit more of a difficult trade if you're not naturally used to it to work on. So why not get a guy who can do all of that, who's efficient in the mid range, who sure he's not, he doesn't shoot high volume from 3, but he can hit the 3 at a good rate. And then he gets you 24 points per game. And if you want to talk about driving to the basket, D Rose and Elfrid Payton, I think it was Elfrid Payton that had 10 points some odd drives to the basket. D Rose is probably up around between 11 or 12. Collin Sexton's close to 17 drives to the basket. If you want a guy that's truly like Tibbs' guy, 17 drives to the basket, just puts constant pressure, who's quick and agile on the rim. I mean, it's there. It's right there. And I think, we saw him improve a little bit on his passing. He's not necessarily the greatest playmaker, but he can get used. He got 4 assists. He definitely knows how to move the ball around, and he could have gotten more. The Cavs aren't necessarily a good team overall, as Chip pointed out. They didn't really shoot well. He's passing the guys who couldn't knock down their shots on a consistent basis. So it could have been a little bit more. Am I saying he's the best playmaker? No, but he's going to find guys because he's just going to draw that much attention. But I understand the concerns. I understand that we don't know if he's going to be the point guard. He's undersized as a combo guard. Who's going to be working next to him to be the true facilitator? These are all other questions, and those are all honest concerns if getting Collin Sexton. But at the same time, I think what Chip said is also right. If you want to be that team that's just moving in the right direction, we can't keep waiting. We can't keep waiting for that free agent to come. And I think that at least we can make one move to go in that right direction.
And as you said, the drives are there. He's a Tibbs guy, like Chip said earlier when we started the show. Why do you think he's stuck with Peyton? For damn near the whole year. And part of it is because, like it or not, he got to the basket at will. Everything else was a train wreck, but that's the type of point guard that Tibbs wants. He wants a guy that's going to put some pressure on the defense. D Rose came in and did the same thing. Another thing with Sexton that you got to like, he finished better at the rim than anybody that the Knicks have on the roster right now. He's about 60% at the rim, which is a bit refreshing considering RJ and Julius were in the low 50s, and that definitely didn't get it done. And shooting foul draw rate, 90th percentile among combo guards, according to Cleaning the Glass. So he's a guy that is going to draw that contact, not afraid of the contact. And so, I think that'll definitely help us as it pertains to getting to the free throw line as well. So it's a lot to like. Obviously, some concerns there as well, but we'll see what happens, man. See what happens in the coming weeks. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP, Alex Rotaros, Chip Murphy in here. We got the Knicks Fan TV squad in the building. Call us up. Let us know what you guys think about the Sexton rumors. 657-383-1509. We also have the Knicks Fan TV Discord that is open to the fans. And we're going to go to the Discord right now because my guy Fredo did not get in the last time. So let's get him in right now. Fredo, you're live and direct, bro. How you doing, man?
How you doing, gentlemen? Thanks for taking the call.
Appreciate it, bro.
All right. Thank you. All right, so this is my thing. I would be really happy if the Knicks got Sexton. But my thing is, when I hear you guys describing him, what I really hear is you guys talking about my boy IQ.
We're going to get to IQ in a second. We're going to get to IQ in a second.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
But my thing is, he's 6'3", IQ, that is. He's really good at getting to the basket, drawing the foul. Okay, he's a phenomenal free throw shooter. And he's also not a great facilitator as Sexton. So if we're going to go this route and pay him, why not stay with IQ, who would be cheaper? It would allow us to go out and maybe trade for another player. We would keep the assets that we would burn on Sexton to maybe get a guy like TJ Warren, right? Or maybe sign a guy like Jared Allen in free agency. And he could really, complete the team without having to give so much away to get Sexton. I like him, but I just feel like there's a better, cheaper route to get a much, maybe the same results. Thanks for taking my call, guys.
Interesting. Chip, I'll let you start that one, man. Thanks, Fredo. Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, I don't think Sexton gets you the same results.
Thanks for taking my call, guys.
Interesting. Chip, hang on. Hang on. Thanks, Fredo. Appreciate it, bro. Let me disconnect you from the Discord. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think Sexton gets you the same results as Quickley. I think he's going to be more of a scorer than.
He's going to be way more dynamic.
Yeah. I think
right now
like Quickley drives to the rim, yeah, for sure, but he doesn't attack like Sexton does and draw fouls like Sexton does. Like, he's obviously a great free throw shooter, but he doesn't go to the line as much as Sexton does. So I think he's going to generate more offense that way in terms of going to the foul line. And yeah, I mean, Quickley's a better shooter obviously than Sexton is right now. But I'm not sure he'll ever be, like you said, CP, as dynamic as Sexton is. I don't think he will. But I don't know if Quickley will ever have a 24 point per game season. Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I think you can still trade for Sexton and keep Quickley.
Yeah, why not have both?
Yeah, why not have both? Yeah, you can play both of them at the same time. I do think that. So you can play Quickley, Sexton, and RJ. And Randall and Mitch. Like, I really think so. I really think you can have both. I don't see why you can't have one or the other.
Let's save it for the IQ player review. But yeah, let's save it for the IQ player review. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. He did mention TJ Warren. He's a guy I would like as a potential trade target as well, man. Not clear, Alex, what the Pacers are gonna do this offseason with Carlisle in tow. They seem to have a nice little core building with LeVert, and I don't know. We'll see if they keep Brogdon. He's another guy I want to keep my eyes out on. Obviously, it seems like they're going to split up Sabonis and Miles Turner. Miles Turner, another guy I wouldn't mind on this team. So Pacers are definitely a team we could watch for in terms of the trade market for sure.
Absolutely, and if it was I would take Brogdon if Brogdon's available. I like Brogdon's game. I think he's, especially from the cerebral aspect, that's what I really like about Brogdon. I think he's the type of guy that you can bring in here if you wanted to slow the pace, turn it up. He can do all those things, and he's an efficient player. He's not going to be reckless. He can command an offense, and just an easy, steady guy that you can rely on every single night. So I would be happy if we got Brogdon on this team. That'd be a major upgrade from what we've had.
Absolutely, man. Let me dial into the switchboard real quick. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. If you guys are new in the chat, leave us a hashtag new, and we'll shout you guys out. Let me just jump in here. Continue. All right.
I would say the thing about Quickley.
Hang on 1 second now. 1 second. Just gonna turn your volume down real quick.
Your show now.
All right, let me hit this up. Good to go.
You now.
All right, go ahead with your point now.
No, the one thing I would say about
your show will go
Quickley
live
and
in
Sexton
5
is that
seconds. 4,
Sure.
3,
hang on.
2, 1.
Yeah, just our British assistant here. She's talking over you, Al. Just want to make sure you got the mic. Just want to make sure you have the floor. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Nah, the one thing I would say is that the difference between Quickley and Sexton is, sure, you guys mentioned being dynamic, but if Tibbs really wants his point guard to attack the basket, we didn't see that from Quickley. Sure, he was able to draw the fouls, but he didn't really have a layup package. He wasn't finishing around the rim that well. He was able to just drive and draw fouls, and then as we saw the season go on, wasn't really doing it as much. So because players were just being more aware that he's not really trying to go finish. So until he can develop that type of game, Collin Sexton has a deeper bag than what Quickley has right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Let's get to the phones. We're going to go to phone number 917. 917, you live and direct, man. What's going on?
Yo, CP, what up? It's JJ from Brooklyn. How you doing, bro?
JJ, what's
How's
going
everything,
on, man? Dave, you can go
What
ahead
up?
and dial into the
Chillin',
switchboard. JJ, what's good, bro?
Chilling, man. A few points. First, on the Lillard trade talk, my thing is, I don't think it makes sense for us right now. You're going to have to give up RJ. Everyone's saying, oh, let's get him for pick swaps and Knox and quick. No, you're going to have to give up RJ. And then what? Then it's like, okay, you're going to have Randall and Lillard. That's not enough. You know, that's not going to win you anything. And then, you know, if like Kawhi was coming, now he's hurt. He's probably out all next year. So I just don't think that the timing is right. We're going to have no future. We're going to have no picks. We're going to have, you know, we're going to have no more young players. I just don't think it makes sense right now if they do trade him. And then on free agency, I know Knicks fans hate hearing this, but I think we got to continue to be patient. This isn't a class to spend long-term cap space. It just isn't. We're going to be stuck in the middle. If we sign, there are guys I like. Yeah, I like Lonzo. I like Powell. I like Gary Trent. But those guys, they probably won't even help us get a 4th seed again next year. I just don't think it's worth it. I'd rather just, you know, sign guys to 1-year deals and just continue to be patient until there's next year's free agent class is going to be really good. I just don't think this is a class to spend big time, long-term cap space. And then on the Sexton thing, real quick, last point, the assist, it's not really telling because they ran a lot of 2-point guard lineups when him and Garland were both healthy. And when Garland was out, Sexton ran point guard for most of the game, and he averaged about 6.5 assists. Yeah. So I don't think he's as bad a point guard as some would believe. And he's on the Cavs, so there's not much shooting. So, you know, I'm not saying he's the most pure point guard, because he definitely isn't, but I don't think he's as bad a pure point guard as many believe. And I just love the efficiency, I really do, for his size to be in the high 40s from the field and high 30s from 3. That's really impressive. So, yeah, thanks for taking the call, CP. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, man. Definitely appreciate the call, bro. Yes, it's a lackluster class,
Appreciate
man. Definitely a lackluster class. Now, shout out to Ian Begley. He came out later last week and said that basically, you know, the Knicks are going to be looking to preserve some cap space this offseason with an eye towards 2022. Sounds like a broken record. Knicks saving cap space. We always saving it for the next season. But it makes sense, you know, this season because with Kawhi, with the partial torn ACL, I didn't think he was coming here anyway, but, you know, he's out the picture. And then, you know, you have a lot of older guys. I don't think CP3 is a realistic option. I think Conley and Lowry is something that I would look for if I were the Knicks if they don't make a trade for Sexton. And yeah, Powell's somebody that intrigues me for sure. I don't know if they're gonna try to sign and trade for Lonzo. I think that's less likely to happen, but we'll see what happens, man. Al, what do you think about this free agent core so far?
It's not a lot out there that's that's desirable. I dropped the one about the point guards. I got one on the shooting guards on the way. And when I've been going down through the list for free agency, I'll tell you this: small forwards is bone dry, bone dry. So don't look for any like hot pressing names when that one comes out. But someone like Lonzo Ball, that's intriguing because of how you can push the pace, the transition. As I mentioned in my article, that was the number one guy who I think the Knicks should go after because we couldn't push the ball in transition. We need a guy who's more of a facilitator. We didn't really get that from Peyton, and we can't just put it all on Randall. And we're hoping that RJ can get there, but it's not there yet. So we need someone who can do that. And even if you get someone like Lonzo, I still believe that if you can get him on a good deal, right? And I keep saying the max that would be like 4 years, 80, so 20 each year, that could still be a contract that you could flip because he's a young player. He's only 23 years old. There's still some more to add to his game. He's improved as a catch and shoot player in this league, shooting close to 40% from three. He still has to work on his mid-range. Obviously, the thing that everyone talks about is that he doesn't drive that much to the basket.
Yeah.
Sure, that's fine. He did that as a rookie. I think that's more of like a product of the teams he's with. When you had LeBron James on the Lakers, his second season in the league, and then you talk about going down to New Orleans where you're trying to run it through Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. So I think they're trying to run it through more. So those guys, especially this season, since we saw Zion have the ball more in his hands, more so than Lonzo Ball. So that's a player that I would look out for. Another point guard, as you mentioned, Connolly, Lowry. Those are guys that if you want to bring in a vet to just kind of groom the next point guard or just be that solid veteran presence while being able to distribute and be that lead guard, those guys are really good options as well. Campaign is someone I would just take a flyer on, see what he can do. Obviously, not so much right now in the playoffs, especially with after as we're seeing in the finals, but still someone I would take a flyer on for cheap and just see what can happen. And then shooting guards, I think Powell is definitely a realistic option because he's an unrestricted free agent that we can go for. Someone like Gary Trent Jr., the Raptors traded for him.
Yeah.
He's a restricted free agent. They're going to try to keep him because that was the whole point. They essentially just swapped the player so that way they can have a younger player who they know they can match any offer.
Yeah, Ujiri's going to take care of him. He's not letting him walk.
Yeah. So, but the free agent market overall, there's not a lot going on. I don't know who do you think is on the market that's intriguing to you?
I mean, for me, I think Powell for sure. Powell for sure. And then, that's really it. What I think is important, though, is that we need neither Lowry nor Conley excites me based on their age, the price, and their durability issues, especially Conley. But what I feel like it's important if we're gonna go into the draft and pick out one or two players. We're gonna continue with RJ. We're gonna continue with Mitch. If Obi's still here, if IQ's still here, I think it's still important to emphasize player development. And that is by having guys like those two guys that can make these plays better, or quality vets. But I put those two guys at the top because we need a point guard. Continuing that trend like the impact that Rose had, to a lesser extent the impact that Burks had. He was just a scorer off the bench, but Rose really, got these guys better. We need to continue that because, number one, this team made the 4th seed in the East. They're going to be under pressure to continue that pace or try to, be around that ballpark. But also, if we're talking about trades and everybody's under this belief that we can't trade RJ for anybody, well, other guys are going to have to step up and be better. And you're not going to do that if you don't have the quality veterans that's going to help you win. Chip, what's your take on that?
On free agency?
Yeah.
On free agency, I really want Kyle Lowry. I really do. I know people are down on him because he's 35. I've seen stuff like 2 years, 50 million, 2 years, 60 million.
Yeah, I'm saying I saw some up in the 30s, man. Yeah.
I would do that. I would do that just to get Kyle Lowry in the building. I would. I know it's not a contract everybody would do. I think Kyle Lowry is that good. I think he'd be that big for the franchise just to get him in there and play well and win and help us win. I think with Kyle Lowry on the team, it's just such an improvement. I really do think that. And I think he'd be that important for us. I love Lowry. I like Norm Powell a lot too.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
I like
if
Powell
he's
a lot, bro.
yeah, I think everybody likes Norm Powell.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how realistic it is to get him for a great price. I think he's going to go for huge money, too much. After listening to Alex talk about Lonzo as much as Alex has talked about Lonzo, I'm kind of warming up to Lonzo a little bit, but the price he's going to cost, I feel like Lonzo's going to cost a lot of money.
I don't think they're going to double pay for him. I don't see.
The Pelicans are not going to pay for him.
I will see. According to Shams and the Athletic, Pelicans are going to let him walk for if it's a exorbitant price, which you could see that, but I don't think the Knicks would trade assets for him and then pay him. I don't think they're going to do that for a player like Lonzo.
No,
I think it's going to be a desperate team that pays him. It's going to be like the Bulls, who are desperate. The Knicks aren't desperate; they don't need Lonzo. The Bulls are desperate.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be someone like the Bulls or maybe Dallas, who's desperate too. I think it'll be someone like that who pays him. So I'm not out on Lonzo like some people are. I wouldn't pay him huge money.
No, I think he could help. I think there's several areas where Lonzo can help this team. I've said it on every show we talk about Lonzo. I think he could help. I just don't think that they'll pay the price.
Nah.
I just don't think that they'll pay the price.
Mm-mm.
No, and if it's more than, like I keep saying, if it's more than 80, he's not worth it. And I think Chip's right. The Bulls also, Shams reported that the Clippers were also interested in Lonzo Ball as well. So let those guys be the guys that decide to overpay for Lonzo. He's not worth that until he can start being consistent in other areas of his game. But I think he'd be a good addition just to help. And I saw someone in the chat saying if I was saying Lonzo over Sexton, I would take Sexton over Lonzo.
Yeah,
because of the scoring, and just I think he can do a little bit more than I know he can do more than what Lonzo does. But if we're talking about through a free agency standpoint, Lonzo's at the top of that point guard list. How do you guys feel about DeMar DeRozan though as a free agent?
No,
I'm out.
I'm the same as way.
I'm not big on DeRozan.
Hard pass.
Yeah. He'd have to have the ball in his hands a lot to be as effective as he needs to be, like all the time, and I don't want that. So and that takes away from Randall's effectiveness. So
I wouldn't go after DeRozan. I definitely would not. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for your squad. CP Alex Rotaros, Chip Murphy in the building. We got the KnicksFanTV All-Star panel tonight. What do you guys think, man? Sexton, leave us your Sexton comments. What do you guys think about free agency? Call us up, 657-383-1509. Remember, tonight's show, as usual, all KnicksFanTV live shows are presented by Manscaped. Fellas, it is summertime. It's hot out here, especially in New York, man. It's been hot out here. Make sure you turn on the AC downstairs, and that is with the Lawnmower 4.0, the #1 men's grooming tool below the waist. This is the new Lawnmower 4.0, fellas, with the matte black design. It's literally the Ferrari of ball trimmers. You got the LED light. It's a spotlight now, so you can do it in the dark, whatever you guys are into. Waterproof. You get nice extended battery life. You can plug it in on the charger. You could also charge it wirelessly as well. So it definitely gives you some versatility there. And for tonight's show, as usual, you guys are going to get 20% off plus free shipping by going to manscaped.com. Enter promo code Knicks at checkout. That's manscaped.com. Enter promo code Knicks at checkout for 20% off plus free shipping. All right, so let's go to the phones. Let's hear what the people got to say. Phone line. The phone lines are lighting up. We got over 1,000 people in the chat right now. Let's get those likes up. We got to get to 1,000 likes before this show's over. So everybody hit that thumbs up button for us, because the chat is getting heavy right now. We got a lot of Knicks fans that want to get their reactions in. Shout out to Will Note, sends a super chat. He says, no geriatric point guards. So I think he was going at you a little bit, Chip. You wanted Lowry there. He says, no geriatric point guards. Will Notes is all the way out.
My goodness.
Geriatric. He's 35. He's not 40. Jeez.
No geriatric point guards. All right, let's get to the phones. Hear what the people want to say. Let's go to Joe from Ohio. I think he has a lot to say about the Sexton stuff. Joe, what's going on?
Yeah, what's good, CP?
How you doing, bro?
What's good, Alex and the boys? I ain't chopping up with you in a minute, man.
Yeah,
want to
long
show you some love first and foremost, always. But hey, bro, I gotta get to it, dog. Gotta get to it. And I know you're gonna hate me, bro.
Yep.
I don't want you to hate me too long because I want to call in on a regular basis. Dog, I'm completely out, like your boy said, with the geriatric point guards, dog. I'm done with the Lowrys. I'm cool on the Collins because I feel like what they could give you, right, in regards to being a good veteran, all that stuff, you can sign a dude maybe like a Jeff T.
Oh man, you speechless. Joe, you still there?
Wait, did he say no geriatric point guards and then
he said
suggest Jeff T?
And he said
Sexton is due for a rookie extension after this season, and I'm not comfortable paying him over $100 million, which he's gonna want. And sidebar, he's putting up 24 points on the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, RJ could average 30 on that team. But anywho, Bradley Beal and Levine are gonna be free agents next summer. So I believe by signing Lonzo to like a Julius Randle type of contract, where we give him 3 years, $60 million team option, will be more cap friendly and flexible for us. And remember, RJ, if he goes crazy this year, hopefully he can get a rookie bag, a rookie max. So yeah, I don't trust paying Collin Sexton. He's not. He's too ball dominant. He can't play off the ball. RJ's learning to play off the ball, and we know Randall loves the ball. It's not healthy. It's not going to look good aesthetically. I just think we should just go with Lonzo, 3 years, $66 million team option. Hopefully we could convince Beal or Levine to come next summer.
So you'd rather trade for Lonzo and then pay him?
Actually, to get Lonzo, I believe, I don't want to say this because I know he's your boy, but listen, Mitchell Robinson, you're on my radar.
Oh,
right?
my
Get
God,
it together.
bro. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Val, thanks for the call.
Get it
thanks
together.
for the call, Val. Thanks for the call, Val. He's out of there. He's out of there, man. This is the family show, Alex. As you know, this is the family show. But Block Nest Monster slander was uncalled for on tonight's show. That was not on the menu, so we got to get him out of here.
My goodness.
Wow.
By the way, if we're talking about guys who are on bad teams that just put up a lot of points, what is Zach LaVine? Like, doesn't he fall into that bucket?
Yeah.
Like, just saying. So, I think we put too much emphasis on guys who are on bad teams because they're in bad situations with either bad coaching or just a bad organization in general. We should know because for a while we had the New York Knicks were a bad organization for a while, so we should know about that. But I don't see just saying that Collin Sexton's on a bad team putting up the same amount of points that RJ could do it. I mean, rookie season, he didn't. And there's not no slander to RJ. I'm just saying it's not that easy to put up 24 points on a bad team.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. And then, I mean, he was sharing the backcourt with Sexton, right? Wasn't Sexton running the point for the most part in Cleveland?
Yep.
Yeah, Garland, yeah.
All right, so, Val, you my guy, man. You know, I like when you call, man, but that was 3 strikes, Val. You know what I mean? That was 3 strikes, man. And then you capped it off with saying you putting Mitch on the block to bring Lonzo here. Come on, Val.
Goodness.
Come on.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, I wouldn't give Sexton $100+ million either, right off. But I mean, you also can't get Lonzo for $66 million. I don't think. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Not a chance.
No. I don't think
chance.
so, man. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. All right, back to the phones we go. Let's go to DJ from Shaolin. DJ, what's going on?
What's up, y'all? Run it up.
Yes, sir.
CP, man, you got too
What's
much
going
info. Alex, what up, man? How you been? But CP, you got too much info, man. The Feds is trying to do a sweep.
I know,
Every
man.
time I tune in.
Yeah, man.
Listen, I think I think whenever you're not home, I think Mr. Dolan bugged your computer, bro. It's not a good look no more, bro.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You know too much info. You on the lines with Jonathan. You with Bagley. You too well in, bro.
You already know, bro.
On this. Yeah, man. But I just came back from the gym and I saw y'all. I got the notification. Listen, this is how I felt because I had to wait a week for me to have my true feelings because I'm invested in Obi. If y'all know me, exactly who I wanted in the draft. Now, with that being said, if I got to give up a backup, which Obi is, let's all keep it real, because not even God knew that Randall was going to be this good.
Yeah.
And clearly we got to pay Randall. We're not starting over, so this whole trade Randall thing, that's over and done with. We run it with Randall. We build in with RJ and Randall.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, if all it takes, if that proposed trade from last week is accurate, if all it takes is a backup role player, a bench warmer, and a pick that won't even equal to Collin Sexton, then I'm with that. And this is why, and this is before y'all all black on me, because I've been the Lonzo bandwagon supporters. But you could trade for Sexton this year, and we could do the same thing Brooklyn did when they wanted to get KD. They didn't have enough money to get KD and Kyrie. They signed and trade, and just because D'Lo wasn't a part of the Brooklyn organization, remember, he got traded for Kuzma. They shipped him off and said, don't worry about it. That's not our problem. As long as we got a star, that's not a problem. So why can't we, once, Dame officially says halfway through the season, I want out. Well, in December, why can't we do that with a sign and trade? I'd much rather give up Sexton in a trade to get Dame than RJ, because there's no way they could demand both. They can't demand both and picks. That's outrageous. And even with Sexton here, my man, listen, CP, you know me. I've been on the Will Barton bandwagon all summer. He just opted out, yesterday? So clearly he's testing his waters. I would love to get him off the bench. So you could still get Sexton and not have to pay him right now. That Lonzo, the last call of Val, I support him, but you're not getting Lonzo for 66. Yeah, and I don't even know why the shot at Mitch. If you're going to get Lonzo, why are you taking a shot at Mitch? Because Lonzo unlocks Mitch. So right. I don't understand that. But you got to pay 80 or up for Lonzo. That's the only way he's getting out of there. So why not just trade for something less to get Sexton, and then you surround Sexton with players that could play off him, like the Will Barton. I'm not a big fan of Kelly Oubre, but I'm not going to sit here and lie. If Kelly Oubre is the fourth, fifth option, and I start at 5, then I'm good with that.
No,
I'm
sir.
good with that.
No, sir. Sorry.
But no,
I'm out on it. I'm out on that. You were coasting, Deej, until you hit the Oubre thing, man. It's all right. It's all good, bro.
Listen, CP, I'm not a fan of Oubre at all. It's Will Barton over Oubre for me, but I understand. But no, I'm just saying. I just want everybody that's understanding and listening to your show, if we do trade for Sexton next week, that's not the end game, y'all. Yes, we have to pay him, but he's movable. He's still young, and like V said, he's not just no natural-born scorer, bro. He played with some really bad teammates, some really bad coaching in Cleveland. So if y'all ever get the chance, because now they playing the whole seasons over and over again now on TV, watch those games. A lot of those teammates that didn't like him having the ball, calling him a ball hog, they wasn't any good. So if Tibbs can make diamonds out of Randall and make RJ go from year 1 RJ to year 2,
maybe he deserves the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he deserves the benefit of the doubt, bro.
My fault for this whole. I'm out, CP. I'm wasting enough of your time.
No, you're good, bro.
I just wanted to talk about that.
You're good, man. Appreciate the call, man. Yeah, maybe Tibbs does deserve the benefit of the doubt. Maybe, man. But now he's talking Sexton. He's talking Oubre. He's trying to open the floodgates, man. One project at a time. One project at a time, man. We're not trying to just open up the whole thing. We just starting to get into some good graces now with the fan base. One at a time.
Hey, you don't want a guy who's just here for the vibes? I mean, that's Kelly Oubre on the
stay
Essence.
on the West Coast. Stay on the West
Oubre's
Coast.
a big project.
Yeah, stay on the West Coast for that, man.
Yeah.
Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Salute to King Deej for calling in. Who works at the Apple Store, man? I need a discount. the super chats are good. Somebody who works at the Apple Store, hit me up ASAP. I got a Mayday situation going on. The system is overloaded. I don't know how much longer we're going to last on tonight's show, but we're hanging in there tough. CP in here, Alex Rotaro, Chip Murphy in here, KnicksFanTV.com crew. Definitely a good show so far. Spirited debates. Fan base is in here getting their opinions. Salute to Lloyd Barkerock Jr. Sends a super chat. He says, I blame Max Kellerman on hacking your network CPs, trying to slow down your greatness. King Deej said it might have been Dolan. It could be, man. All conspiracy theories are welcome on tonight's show. It could be. It could be true, man. I don't know. But Yeah, definitely got to address those issues, and we'll do so. But thanks for hanging with us and staying patient, man. We had 1,000 people rocking with us earlier, back down to about 800. So the people are coming back. Definitely appreciate that. And a couple more other super chats I want to acknowledge before we take some more calls. Shout out to Will Notes once again. NY Sports Guy sends a super chat. He says that the same people that say Lowry and Conley are too old are the same people that said no to CP3 2 years ago are in awe of him right now. All right. It's a fair point. Shout out to Tingus Pingus. Nice name. He says the Discord link doesn't work. TM, check out the Discord link because they're saying that the Discord link isn't working. So let's get that fixed. He says, why not draft Trey Murphy III and package picks 32 and 58 for young talent, veteran help, or picks down the line. Well, I don't think 58 is going to get you anything, but maybe 32 because 32 is right there at the beginning of the second round. It's the second pick of the second round, so maybe some teams will see some value there. Never know. We'll see, man. Knicks going into that draft for 4 picks, and we'll see what they come out with. Chip, real quick before we get into the Quickley thing, who are some guys that you like in this year's draft?
Reeve Cooper, I really like. Kispert, I really like too. I like Kispert a lot. And Duarte. I think it'd be really good if they took Duarte or Cooper. Cooper's my guy. He's just the most fun to watch, and he's just the most interesting prospect. And I mean, I haven't looked too much into all the other guys, but of the guys that I've looked at, like Duarte, Cooper, Kispert, guys like that, and you read about Cooper, and it feels like he'd be a great fit here. Like everything about him, I know there's like his shot. There's a problem with there, so he couldn't slide in and I guess be a huge contributor right away. But he just looks like a guy who you feel like could be a success on a Tibbs team in New York, and feels like a fit.
Al, how about you, man? Any prospects that catch your eye so far?
Trey Murphy is definitely up there. I like Trey Mann as well. Sharif Cooper, Usman Garaba, who I just watched on Spain last night. For Spain last night,
who's represented, full disclosure, by Leon Rose's son. So playing for Spain.
It's in the cards.
It's in the cards, man.
But Trey Murphy is definitely my guy. I think a good 3-and-D player, plays gritty on defense. Someone who can probably develop into like a Cam Johnson type of role stretch four-ish type of player. I like him from Virginia. So that's someone I'd hope like the Knicks could get around like the 19-21 area. Yeah. I like his game a lot.
I like Trey Murphy a lot too, man. I definitely like Trey Murphy. I think I said Trey Mann earlier. Terrence Mann, right? It's Terrence Mann, right? I get it. It's Trey Mann. I get him and the guy from the Clippers. I confuse those names every time, every show I say those two names. The kid from Florida, Trey Mann. Yeah, I like his game a lot. Cooper's definitely intriguing. The shooting issues and the defense at that height is a bit of a concern. But at 19. If he's there and you can get a playmaking dynamo like that, with the playmaking potential that he has, I think the Knicks should take it. I don't see why not, because at 21 you can always go get whoever's left over of the wing shooters, and there's a lot. This is definitely a wing-heavy draft as well, so I think they'll be in good shape. If they can move up, I'd love to see them get Kispert. I'd love to see them pull a Moody out of the bag. Worldwide West is in the back room making phone calls and somehow can parlay some of those picks into Moody. I think that would be incredible. But they got a lot of options, man. They got a lot of options. Hopefully, I don't think they'll come out of it with 4 picks. I think maybe 2. But
I think
2.
I think two max, just because the way we saw last season, we see Tibbs doesn't play a lot of rookies. I mean, we saw Quickley and Obi play, but they didn't even get that many minutes. And I think Tibbs wants to go more veteran presence and have his young guys just wearing the robes before he starts implementing them. So I don't see 4 guys getting a bench spot. Question for you though, on both of you, what do you guys think about James Bouknight? Do you think that's in the cards for the next year?
I was just gonna ask you guys about him. I love him. Yeah. I think he's great.
I would love
if
to
they
see him
traded
get him.
up. I think it would be great if they took him.
Yeah, I would love to see him get him. But a lot of the mocks,
Yeah.
I see a lot of them, sending him to Golden State with either 7. You've seen a lot of high lottery picks for Book Knight, but he's another guy I'd love to see, man. Another scoring threat I'd love to see on this team, no doubt about it. Local kid as well. Grew up in the area, went to UConn, so Book Knight is also a guy that I got my eyes on, man. What do you guys think in the chat? Who are some of give me your top 3 draft prospects that you wouldn't mind seeing in the orange and blue uniform next year. We're coming up on the draft, 10 days away from the draft. Alex and Chip will be joining me for the live stream. We'll be live for the whole NBA draft. We got prizes and giveaways going on as well, so you know the vibes already, man. We'll have a great lineup of guests coming through. CK2K will be here. My guy JD Sports Talk has signed up to be on the panel, and my guy Chris LeBron, Off Ball Network. So we'll have the 6 of us on the panel just rapping about the draft, man. So make sure you guys are keeping it locked to KnicksFanTV on YouTube. And let's get to this quickly stuff. Since we are on the draft, last year with the 25th pick, the Knicks were able to draft Immanuel Quickley, man, out of Kentucky. The Kentucky stable got larger with Immanuel Quickley in tow. We all remember the D+ rating that CBS Sports Network gave him, and then turned that into a meme all year after we roasted him. But nevertheless, man, after a surprising season by all Knicks, Quickley was certainly part of that spark. A spark off the bench, 11.4 points per game, 39% shooting from 3. Al, I'll start with you, man. How did you look at Quickley's season? How did you reflect on Quickley's season?
I think it was a success for a rookie, for coming in, just hearing the hype that he's going to be a shooter. We saw, he shot over 40% in college. He shot over 90% from the free throw line in college. There wasn't really a lot of high expectations. He was taken late in the draft, right? But seeing that he was able to come in, be a spark off the bench for most of the season, just really, it was, I guess the Knicks have never been good at drafting a late round pick, and to see Immanuel Quickley just be a good late round pick and be a steal of the draft, and then for a portion of the season be in consideration for rookie of the year, very successful. I think that, the things that you love seeing from him, obviously, is just being that spark at some point. Like once he gets going, shooting from 3, be able to shoot 8 for 10 from behind the arc. That's what you loved. He helped us win some games. Very quick, able to draw fouls, pulling some. I love the game seeing where he was able to pull. Was it the Trae Young bag on him, just drawing fouls, and Trae Young just complaining. But overall, I think it was a very successful season. There's obviously areas of his game that he needs to improve, being able to drive to the basket, playmaking, taking some mid-range jumpers. He didn't show any of that. That's where he's going to have to expand. But as a rookie, it's very hard to see a lot of guys just come in, dominate, and be like your John Morant, or be like a LaMelo Ball and just really just own that moment, be a starter, and just doing all those type of fantastic things. So for what he was able to do and just be, as a rookie, instrumental for being a 4-seed team and helping this Knicks team, come back from just being in the bottom of the barrel, very successful for what he could do. But definitely areas I want to see him work on is playmaking, shooting some, getting his mid-range game going, just being that 3-level threat, because that's really going to take him to the next level, in my opinion.
Yeah, Chip, how about you? How'd you evaluate Quickley's season?
Yeah, I mean, if you were giving it a letter grade, I would say A+. I think he exceeded, like Alex said, all expectations of a pick at his late in the draft. I think everybody's so impressed with him and obviously the stats speak for themselves. 11 points on 40%, nearly 40% from 3-point. And he was just fearless. Like he loved the big moment. For a rookie, you never see that kind of thing. And it was just impressive to watch. And I think he's only going to get better, obviously. And he's perfect, obviously, to play in New York, perfect to play at the Garden. And one thing I do hope that happens, Alex mentioned his playmaking. I also hope we get to see more of him and Julius and RJ on the court next year. Because I don't think we'll see him as the starter next year. But when him and Julius and RJ played 688 possessions last year, they were plus 15.5 points per 100 possessions when those 3 were on the court. It's the 98th percentile of efficiency. That's an insane scoring margin when those three guys are on the court together. Basically, when those three guys played together, the Knicks were really good. So you just need to see more of those three guys together. And I don't know if Quickley's going to start. I don't think he will, but I think without Peyton there, who it doesn't matter who they bring in as point guard, I think we'll see more of Quickley with those two guys. And that's the biggest thing next year for him, to play more minutes with better players like Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. And when he does, I think we'll see that 2-point percentage go up because I think we'll have more room to drive. And I was just really impressed with everything he did last year. I think he even came along more defensively towards the end of the year. Clearly, he's very well coachable. He really wants to learn, and he's just a really smart player. Doesn't play like a rookie, and very high hopes for him in the future, I think. And I think a lot of people say this on Twitter. You can't box him in yet. We don't really know what his role is yet. So we don't know what he is. Is he a point guard? Is he a scorer off the bench, like Lou Williams type? We don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. We really don't know what his ceiling is just yet, but I thought he had an outstanding rookie campaign for a guy that we really didn't know what we were going to get from him. You know, this is a 25th pick in the draft. You know, a lot of these guys don't play in their first year. A lot of these guys might not even crack the league. I mean, Quickley came in from the preseason on and just established himself as a piece that he forced Tibbs' hand. You got to play this kid. We needed it. We knew the shooting was elite coming out of Kentucky. We knew that, and we knew that this team was in desperate need of that shooting ability. But the way that he got his shots off in a veteran like way, I just thought it was a big lift for this team in so many games, man. I remember that even though they lost, my favorite Quickley game was the Portland game. The game where he dropped 31 points. He's battling Dame. He's battling Anthony Simons. Knicks are down by like 25 going into the fourth. They're able to cut it down to about like 3 or so. Quickley has 21 points in the fourth quarter. He was absolutely electric. And, that was the scoring versatility that you saw from him. His ability to draw fouls. Like a veteran, kind of like how Trae Young, how Harden were able to draw those. I thought that was what really impressed me as well. He finished in the league non-shooting foul draw rate. I think he was in like the 90th percentile. 2.2% of his shots, and then shooting foul rate, he was 8.7% of his shots he was able to draw a foul on. And then, I kind of thought later on in the season, he wasn't getting much of that respect from the referees, and then I also felt like teams were kind of adjusting to that and kind of forcing him into some bad shots and some turnovers there. So teams made some adjustments. We'll see how he does in his second year, but overall I thought Quickley was definitely outstanding. When Rose came, I thought having him off ball was also something that gave us a spark, so that the fact that he didn't have to worry so much about facilitating for others and he can just come in and just score off of Rose's creation. I thought that definitely gave us a lift when Rose got there. And then when they had, at times when they ran the 3-guard lineup with Rose, Quickley, and Burks, I thought that lineup was definitely dynamic, especially in the second half of the season, and that really fortified our bench. I'm with you, though, Chip. Seeing him out there with RJ and Julius will definitely be a plus next year. And we'll see where they go. But one of the things for improvement is definitely the intermediate game. We know the free throw shooting is elite. The three-point shooting is elite. But he only shot 40% from 2. Yeah. And he didn't finish too well at the rim, didn't drive enough at the rim. And, it's either three-point or a floater for Quickley. So you want to see him develop some sort of, intermediate shot so that he's not so predictable on his drives. We'll see. We'll see if he can get that. If he can get that off, then I think the sky is the limit for him. And then also playmaking. You definitely want to see him become a bit better for playmaking. That was always going to be his swing skill. How well he was going to be able to set his guys up and play make for others. You saw he kind of missed some reads out there over the course of the season and was a bit tunnel vision. So we'll see. We'll see if he's able to improve in those areas. I think he could be a starter. I think he could definitely be a starter. But for now, just having his 3-point abilities on this team is going to do us very well, whether it's off the bench or closing. He can still close games, as we saw this year. So I think Quickley's been a great asset for us, man. Really good asset.
Yeah, absolutely. And like a fun fact, by the way, and this is going to NBA Advanced Stats. They logged 208 jumpers that he took this season, and 193 of those jumpers were three-pointers. So the remaining, which is 15, were mid-range. So he only took 15 mid-range jumpers this entire season. So he definitely needs to work on that game.
Yeah. So to the guy that was trying to compare him to Sexton, he's not Sexton. Not saying that he can't be, but Sexton's offensive arsenal has pretty much been defined. I mean, 24 points per game. You see it, and you can see it on the court. Quickley's got a ways to go there, but nevertheless, he definitely showed some promise, especially from the three-point strike. But only 15 mid-range shots total this year. That's kind of crazy. That's definitely kind of crazy. And then obviously defensively, we'll see how he comes around. There were some times where you saw teams trying to hunt him on the mismatches and clearly trying to take advantage of his lack of size, his lack of strength. And so we'll see how he improves there. I was a bit disappointed in the Hawks series. Obviously, it was playoffs and things of that nature, and he certainly gave the team a spark in Game 1. He was shooting damn near 40-footers. Definitely had the roof blown off for MSG, but overall struggled in the playoffs. So he's like everybody else did in the series, but definitely wanted to see him take some more shots and take a bit better shots. Give credit to the Hawks on their defense, but I also didn't think Quickley shot the ball enough in that series to really help us get going. So we'll see what they learn from there and how he gets better. But Hawks series was definitely a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, it definitely was. I think I wish Tibbs would have used Quickley a little bit more. I think he could have been a little spark just because we saw him be fearless in the regular season. I think he was a little too tight in the rotations when we weren't that tight this entire season, and I think that just played against us, but I get the kind of logic he was going for when we go with my veterans, because the young guys maybe aren't ready for the moment, but I still think when you're seeing what's happening where Hawks are coming back in Game 3, Game 4, you need to just you got to use everything that you have on the bench. You got to throw everyone out there, especially when Quickley can just get going at any second. I wish we could have seen him more, because we saw that last game of the series, he started to go off, and it's just kind of what could have been if you played him a little bit more. Maybe you didn't need to play D Rose as many minutes. Maybe you could have spaced the 4 out for Julius to get more shots with RJ. If you put Quickley out there for a little bit and just set D Rose on the bench just a little bit longer. I just wish we could have seen that.
Yeah, I think by the time he decided to bench Peyton, Quickley was kind of already out of rhythm with his minutes. His shot was out of whack by then.
Yeah, and then I also think just defensively, man, that the way the Hawks are shredding us with the pick and roll, I'm just not sure. Listen, nobody had an answer for it, right? Peyton definitely, obviously didn't. D Rose obviously was getting flamed out there, and I don't think Quickley would have fared much better. But so maybe it didn't even matter at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking from a Tibbs standpoint, he's still gonna lean on especially his veterans to try to slow down that high octane offense, man. So we'll see how they bounce back next season. What do you guys think in the chat? On a scale of, let's say, 1 to 10, how would you rank, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, how would you rank Immanuel Quickley's rookie season? Leave a comment in the chat. And what do you guys think about his season overall? Leave us some comments, and we'll take a look. I'm going to shout out Mr. William 1072 sends a super chat. Mr. William 1072, what's going on? He says, he puts his name in the NBA draft selections. He says Jared Butler and Trey Murphy spend money for Norman Powell. And we just heard that Jared Butler announced on Twitter on Friday that he's been cleared. So that was a question mark in terms of the NBA draft, his NBA draft prospects. He's been cleared. So we'll see, man. I would like him too, man. A nice little combo guard, defense. He shoot the ball. Came from a good school, championship team. And I think he'll be on the Knicks radar as well. They did interview him, as far as I heard. So we'll see. We'll see if Jared Butler becomes available now that he's been cleared by the NBA.
Yeah, Jared Butler is another guy who hopefully it's another option the Knicks could probably go for. He also can give you a little bit of a playmaking too, so that would be nice from him. would like to see him on this team. I feel like this draft, unlike last season, where there's a lot more knows like what we can get, and it's deeper as well. So I don't think there'll be too much. There'll be a good amount left over once we get to 1921.
Yeah. For sure. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. All right, we'll take a couple calls before we wrap. You guys want to talk Sexton quickly, whatever you guys want to talk about, give us a call, 657-383-1509. And also on the KnicksFanTV Discord. Take a couple more calls before we wrap up. And let's go to my guy Angel from Philly. Angel, what's going on, bro?
Yo, what's good, CP? How you doing, bro?
What's good, bro? How you feeling, man?
I'm good. Hey, what's going on, Alex? And Chip, how you guys doing, man?
What's up? What's going on, Angel?
I'm good. Hey, listen, man, for the whole, expected rumors, I don't know about y'all, but I really don't want to pay twice. I don't want to give up our top 2 draft choices or one of our draft choices and then give up on Obi so fast. And then, when it comes time to pay him, you either don't want to pay him or he's going to leave, and that to me doesn't make sense, So I would rather go like Jalen Brunson if you're going to make a trade, maybe Lonzo. That's where I would go because whoever's going to be the point guard, anybody that's not Elfrid Payton, I'm cool with. I don't care who with it. You could put me in there. I just don't want to see Elfrid Payton playing the point guard anymore. So I'm just done with him. But I just think with, the whole Obi thing, let's just stay patient, man. Like, we got to build our talent, and as far as Coach Tibbs, man, you got to open up them lineups, man. Give him some minutes. I really thought that Obi really stepped his game up in the playoffs. So why give up on him right now, And it just doesn't make sense to give up on him so fast, And granted, we didn't see Randall playing this well. But, I mean, why not, put him at the 5, because as much as, you want a defensive center in the game, I mean, I don't think Noel's coming back. And I don't, know about, Mitchell. I just don't see him being a part of the future either, and he gets hurt a lot, So I just don't want to give up on young talent so easy. I mean, we stuck with Frank Ntilikina for 3 years. I mean, you can't stick with Obi for 2. I mean, come on, give me a break, So, and when it comes to the draft, I think my top 3 choices would be Terrence Mann, Murphy, and Cooper. Any one of those players right there, I'm cool with. But and then even when it comes to the the trade for Black Dame, like we're not in the position to make that kind of move right now. But how are you going to be in position if you don't build your own talent?
Right, and that's what I'm saying, bro. I appreciate the call, bro. But that's why I'm saying you got to be able to develop your younger players, and just fielding a team with young guys. We've seen it. We see it with Cleveland right now. That's why everybody's calling Sexton a loser. They don't have quality veterans to help them win. They got Love and Drummond, the 2 biggest quitters in the league. They'll probably both end up on the Nets next year, along with Blake Griffin, another quitter. They don't have quality vets. Look at the Sacramento Kings. Swiper the Fox is going to be looking to get out of there before. Look where the Phoenix Suns have been before CP3 got there. A perennial loser, even with a talent like Devin Booker. Now Devin Booker's the next Kobe, right? You need those veterans to help elevate your young guys. Now Cameron Payne is going to be a hot commodity. You got Mikal Bridges, who we all know he's a good player. We should have drafted him. But as a role player, his game is automatically amplified. And so that's why I say even though I'd be leery to pay Conley and Lowry, I think you should bring these guys in if they can start for you, because I don't think D Rose can start for us.
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having veteran presence. We saw what having good veteran presence does. We can just take a look at D Rose and what he did for Obi Toppin and Immanuel Quickley. Those 2 guys alone got so much value out of D Rose for someone who understood the game, understands the league, and just knows how to be a true pro. Same thing with Taj Gibson, a pro's pro. He's mentoring these guys. Like, you need those type of guys that can help elevate these young guys' play, because you don't need the blind leading the blind. We don't need just a bunch of young guys trying to figure it out together. That doesn't work. We saw that with Phoenix. We've seen that with Cleveland, and we've seen, as you point out, we've just seen it around the league. It doesn't work. We'll look at Sacramento and what Luke Walton's doing out of there. They're not going anywhere, and they're stuck in the West. So it's even more difficult for them. You need the quality guys. I wouldn't be upset if we got Lowry or Connolly, but you need those quality veterans. You can't just have a bunch of young guys on the team. It's the blind leading the blind at that point.
True story indeed. All right, couple more calls. Let's go to D from North Carolina. D, what's going on?
Hey, what's good, CP?
How you doing, bro?
Give that thumbs up for your boy. Hey, I was just calling because I know people touch base on it a little bit, but I think that we should actually go after Cameron Payne. He'd be a cheaper option. He'll come in, be fundamental. Then you could use what you were going to trade for Sexton, try to get Miles Turner from Indiana or somebody, or even get a small forward from somebody and fill all the gaps. And then with the pick, if you get the pick, I think we should take Cameron Thomas because he's Sexton, just a younger version.
Go get a bucket. Cam Thomas out of LSU. Okay. All right. So D's thinking a bit creatively there. Thanks for the call, man. So he's going Payne and saying use a potential trade package or the potential parameters as it's being rumored right now to go get Miles Turner. What do you guys think about that?
I wouldn't be upset with Miles Turner. I think he's a good center. I mean, obviously you got to fit there between Sabonis and Turner. Who are you going to play more? And I think Turner seems like to be on the way out because they like Sabonis since he gets most of the minutes. I don't think the same package, though, that we're talking about for Sexton would get you Turner, though. That's just my take, though, on the whole matter.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, he's one of the best defensive players in the NBA, and he doesn't have the contract situation that Sexton does.
Yeah.
And so there's that. And, I mean, the Turner thing, what does that mean for Mitch? Like, where does that leave Mitch in terms of the Knicks? Because you can't play those guys together.
No.
So if you're saying you want Miles Turner, are you saying you don't want Mitch then?
I just don't. I don't know what Mitch's future is going to be with this team, man. I don't know. I'd love to have him. That's my guy. You know, $1.5 million on the team option this season. What happens after that? It's going to be a big.
Mitch is a wild card.
Mitch is a wild card, bro. Big time wild card. So we'll definitely see there. What do you guys think in the chat? D's proposal. He wants Cam Payne and then to go after Miles Turner and then draft Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas out of LSU. All right. Let's see. All right. Couple more calls and then we'll wrap up. So to everybody in the chat, once again, let's get those likes up. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. If you guys work at the Apple store, hit me up pronto after this. Mayday. This thing is on his last legs. We did good, man. I don't know. We've been on for 37 minutes in this session, so I think that's probably the longest. I think that's the longest run we've went on so far. So we're going strong right now. All right, Book from Queens, and then we're going to close with Ari. Book, what's going on?
Hey, CP, Alex Chip. So glad to be on the call, fellas. And also, CP, congrats on all your success.
Thank you.
So far on a great year.
Thanks a lot,
All right,
man.
so to get right to it, I love the Quickley year, just to get on that. The thing about all rookies this year that we have to consider is these are rookies that didn't have the same preparation with the combine and the summer league and the training camp. It was a mess for these really young guys, which also affects their conditioning. So really, we don't know what we got from a lot of these rookies. And people who really stood out, they might even be better than we think they are. And for that reason, I don't think we should, as you guys said, we shouldn't define Quickley, because one of the great things that Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr did for Steph Curry was they gave him the green light to be Steph Curry. And Trae Young has had that green light this entire time. Quickley has not had the green light to be the guy who can hit those shots. And it's understandable because they were trying to improve it. This isn't they weren't trying to be a 19-win team that they can just have a guy jacking up shots. But until we give him a greener light than he's had, we don't know what we have. And that's the thing about any of these trades is you don't sell low on appreciating assets unless it's going to make you a contender, right? So with Sexton, he fits our window, which is great. And the thing is, point guard availability upcoming doesn't look great unless we draft somebody and get lucky. Yeah. So at some point, we're probably going to have to trade that position unless specifically Quickley pops. Those are our two choices. Everything else is you're incubating for a Quickley or whoever we draft this year. And again, point guards usually take 3 to 4 years, right? Everybody's not John Morant.
Yep.
Or you're trading for a guy of Collin Sexton's talent level. And the thing about both Quickley and Sexton, even though they're different versions of it, we need scorers. We need guys who can score off the pick and roll. We need guys who can shoot. We need guys who are quick. Now, Sexton's more athletic, but Quickley is more of a shooter. I like going in that direction over just about everything else. The great thing about Cam Payne is now that he's been in the finals, he's a guy who's proven to be a worker. He can come in and be the stopgap guy. I don't care if we have to suffer with another first-round exit or two, especially after what we've been watching. If that leads us to the promised land, right? Because the thing about being patient is all of our assets that we invested in this year are appreciating. OB was regarded better at the end of the year than he was after his first few weeks.
Yeah.
Same thing for Quickley. Same thing for RJ, right? Everybody that we played is worth more now than they were 9 months ago. And the same thing is most likely going to be true for those players. And if you trade now for a result, you're not going to beat the New Jersey Nets. Like, I'm as optimistic as the Nets guy, but that's not what we're doing this year, right? The plan this year is to improve. If you're not, hitting a home run, you're trading for less than what you would get in a year or two. And the last thing I would say is I think when we keep those spots relatively open, I'm not saying to not get anybody, improve as much as we can, but not sign somebody crazy. Zach LaVine and Bradley Beal can be had, especially LaVine, because the Bulls are terrible. They're terribly managed. He's playing with all of these great players right now, and they will be facing a situation where they have to lose him for nothing or get something out of it. And that window of timing, if we have the top ends and it improves quickly and all that stuff, we might be talking about pairing Zach LaVine with something crazy at that point if we stay opportunistic. The fact of the matter is, it's like buying a GPU right now. Ain't nothing on the shelf. So just keep your money until new stock comes in.
All right, appreciate the call, Book. And if you got that deal on the MacBooks, man, let me know, man. I need a new computer, bro. Please, man. All right, appreciate it. Book's saying stay patient, stay with it. He's willing to go patchwork with Cam Payne. I think Beal or Levine, I think they will be realistic targets. I don't know about a trade. I'm hoping Beal will hold out and we just sign him outright after next season. That would be ideal. Because when you sign guys, it's going to be important too before you max out Julius, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think both guys want to go into free agency. It feels like, because if Beal didn't, I feel like he already would have pushed for a trade.
Yeah.
So I think he wants to go into free agency.
Yeah, don't sign
Levine's
with Washington
definitely going to free agency.
Yeah. I think one of those two guys will be a realistic option.
Yeah.
Which is why the Knicks, as Ian Begley has said, that they want to keep the cap flexible. So I don't see them going too crazy this offseason either.
I think both of those guys have seen what it's like to be in situations for a long time and not really make much movement. So I think they just want to have a lot of options. I don't think they necessarily have a destination in mind, but I think they just want, they
want options.
To take a look at the 29. Yeah.
They want to date again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. And Tibbs and Levine has the connection with Tibbs for Minnesota too. He's put him over before.
That's right.
It's definitely possible.
I think it's very much possible.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Levine praise Tibbs too?
He did.
Yeah,
he did. He did, right?
Big time, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. All right, we're going to close the show. We made it to the end. Ari, what's going on, man? Ari, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Good, bro. What's going on?
Good. How you doing, Ari?
Good.
So, what's up, Alex? What's up, Chip? I'm doing well, man. So first of all, that last call was amazing.
Yeah,
that
he was
probably
good.
the best
Book was
call.
good.
That was probably the best call since my call last episode. So props to you, bro. That was dope. But listen, man, everything he said was 100% right.
Yeah.
Like JJ called in and he said that Damian Lillard and Julius Randle aren't going to win you anything. So what makes anyone think that Collin Sexton and Julius Randle are going to make us win anything? Like, this is what I don't understand. And this is kind of why Jay from Florida said last year was like, fool's gold, right? Like, we are not in win now mode. We're just not ready yet to pull these kind of moves, man. We need to keep on adding assets, right? And that's why I agree with Book's call, man. Listen, we have assuming Derrick Rose comes back. Yes, he can't be your starter, but he's good for 25 minutes a game. You're gonna trade assets for Collin Sexton, who literally has the ball in his hands the whole time, who's like gonna overshadow Derrick Rose, take away shots from Quickley, and just disrupt the entire
he's gonna be
chemistry.
but hold on though. All right, I'm push back on a couple things. I hear what you're saying. I hear all the issues, but Sexton is gonna start. He's 22.
Okay.
And I don't think it's the end all be all. I think he's a guy at 22 years old that can grow with this team, which I think is something that we could use, that could get better with this team, and maybe he's a stepping stone to getting you that next superstar where you don't have to give up RJ like most fans don't want to do. So I don't think you're getting Sexton to say we're going to win right now. But I think he's somebody who, if he's producing at this same level and Tibbs reins him in a little bit, works on his weaknesses, maybe he helps grow with this team and gets better over time.
So we're maxing out Randall. We're borderline maxing out Sexton. We're giving Mitchell Robinson $12 to $15 million a year. That's what we're doing.
No, I don't think so. I think Mitch is going to be a casualty.
What's that going to do for us? Are we going to win anything doing that? That's not how you like. We're not ready to make these moves, man. This is what we should do. We should upgrade at the point guard cheaply. Cameron Payne, Jalen Brunson. I would do a Kyle Lowry 2 years with a team option in the second year. I'd give him $30 million a year the first year, and I have a team option for $30 million the second year. If you strike out, you pay him that. The goal is not to win a championship right now. The goal is to build to attract free agents in the future. And how do you do that, right? You make smart upgrades. This is what the Knicks did last year. They didn't spend money on anything crazy. They signed Alec Burks. Great. They made a savvy, cheap deal to get Derrick Rose here for the cheap, right? They brought Bullock in. That was a good signing, right? Like, they made cheap things, and they upgraded. We should do the same thing. Stick to the game plan. Draft two players this year, right? Don't trade Obi for anybody. Don't trade Obi. Don't trade Knox. Don't trade any of these guys. Just continue to build, and then at the deadline next year, when Zach LaVine and Bradley Beal come on board, right, on the block, then you could trade. Who knows? Quickley was the 25th pick, right? We might get two new good players. Assume we get one. Then you have Obi. You have the drafted player that we have here. You could trade Mitchell Robinson maybe and a future first-round pick. You could bring in Zach LaVine, right? You still have Immanuel Quickley. You still have RJ Barrett, right? You don't have to make any decisions on Randall. I don't know why you guys are considering Randall like, we got to give him the max. I don't know if you guys watched the playoffs, but I'm not counting 1 year.
He's going to get the max, though.
God.
He's going to get the max.
I don't think he should get the max. I think we should see how he does next year. Then see what it is. I'm not giving someone the max for 80 games for 78 games he played in with no fans in the stands, when teams weren't allowed to literally leave their hotel rooms, where half the players didn't even care to play because they were concerned about COVID, and Tibbs out here playing every game like it's the NBA Finals, right? You think Collin Sexton is going to come in here and Julius Randle is going to have just as good of a year as he did the year before? The whole thing is like, we don't have to make a decision on Randall right now. Why can't we continue the rebuild?
But they're going to take care of him.
Upgrades.
They're going to take care of him, bro.
Cheap upgrades can. If he plays like he did in the playoffs, they're going to take care of him.
Yes.
Really?
It's cost of doing business, bro. They're not going to let him walk. They're not going to let him walk, and there's no trade out there that's worth what he's produced this past season. We'll see what happens next season.
Okay, I'm saying next year. Next year, if he plays next year, let's say he doesn't play as good as he did this year, but not quite as bad as he did in the playoffs. Let's say he did somewhere in the middle. You're gonna throw him a max deal at the end of that year? Really?
I think they still will. And appreciate the call, bro. I think they still will. I don't know, Chip it out, or what do you think? I think they're still gonna max out Randall regardless, bro.
Yeah, of course. It's the Kentucky connection with Leon Rose, CAA, Worldwide West. He's their guy. Of course they're going to max him out. And he's earned it with what he just did.
I mean, we just heard on the Woj podcast when Woj interviewed Randall that he literally sat down with Wes, Leon Rose, asking, what do you need to be better in this situation? And he legit has his two guys in the front office running this ship. I don't think they're going to let Julius Randle just walk. And also, if they just let a guy walk like that after what he's done,
you run them out of town.
Yeah, then you're really setting a bad look for the Knicks. So he's going to be taken care of. Will be the max, maybe not the full max. Might be close. It's going to be close to it though. So he's going to get paid. And guess he's a good second, third option. Like it's his first time in the playoffs. I'm not reading too much into it this season. Let's see what happens next season. But I still think he's going to get the max. I still think he's going to get close to the max too.
Yeah,
I think he's going to get it, man. So to Ari, man. I still think my guy Book's call was a little bit better, Ari. But you're a veteran, you know what I mean. Book doesn't call here that much. Yeah, I still think Book's call was better. But listen, I hear you, man. I hear you. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Will Sexton be available? Will they pull the trigger on it? Knicks Twitter, Knicks Nation has been all over this thing all week. Every show, every podcast, every blog. That's how we doing all season vibes, man. We got to talk about it. We got to come together as a family and talk about it. And I thought this was a great show. Appreciate you, Alex. Appreciate you, Chip. The debut of Chip Murphy, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you go to KnicksFanTV.com. Chip, Alex, shout out my guy KnicksFanTV, Dave, putting everything together. Everybody over at KnicksFanTV.com making it happen, man. The content is continuing to evolve, so we definitely appreciate you guys contributing. And make sure you guys are supporting them, man. Make sure you guys are supporting them. Go to KnicksFanTV.com as usual for the latest takes as we continue on with the off-season content. Later this week, We'll do one last draft Q&A. My guy Derek Murray from basketballnews.com will be here, formerly of Babcock Hoops. He's been touring the world, touring the country, scouting these players this year. So he's gonna come here this Thursday and give us his thoughts. And yeah, man, make sure you guys are hitting that like button, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. A couple more super chats have come in. Let me salute Von Quan. It's a nice name. He says he wants to draft Trey Mann and Chris Duarte. Give Duncan Robinson a bag and let's go. We need the shooting. Listen, I love Duncan Robinson.
Robinson.
Riles ain't letting him come to the Knicks. No way.
No way.
No way. No way.
What was that? What was that report that he was supposed to annually make like $25 million a year? Was that what I read correctly?
Oof.
Yeah, I think someone from the Athletic put that out like 25, something along those lines.
Oh, is that the Hollinger?
I think that it was the Hollinger
thing.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a little too rich for my blood. I mean, give him the Joe Harris bag. What's Joe Harris getting? 17?
Yeah.
I think that sounds
more,
about right.
I think that's more up his alley.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. It's 25. Nah. And Riles isn't letting him come to the Knicks. That's not happening.
No.
Yeah, man. Mr. William 1072 sends another super chat. He says, do you entertain moving Mitch for Miles Turner? Put me on the spot here, man.
Turner is better right now. But is Mitch going to be better?
Is he going to grow into that guy?
Yeah.
That's the gamble you're taking.
I think it's
like we said, he's a wild card.
Yeah.
We don't know.
I think it's very much point guard dependent, at least with Turner.
Yeah.
You know, he could give you some off-ball splash from three, which I don't think Mitch will ever get. You know what I mean? But listen, he can impact the game in different ways, certainly. You know, I love Mitch's, obviously, the rim protection. His ability to be switchable on the perimeter. You know, give guys a fight. I thought he could have given us a big shot in the playoffs, a big shot in the arm. And hold on, ladies and gentlemen. The closer, Jay Boogie. Oh man, I gotta get Jay Boogie in here, man. I gotta get Jay Boogie in here. Especially Chip. This is your first episode, man. We gotta get a Jay Boogie call in here. Hang on. We gotta get Jay Boogie in here. That was my fault, ladies and gentlemen. Hang tight. We gotta get the closer in here to close out the show. It's only right. Give me a second here, people. Jay Boogie, hang tight. We going to you, man. I had signed out of the switchboard, but we'll get back in, man. Jay Boogie's on. Can't say no to
To
that.
hear important instructions, press 2.
All right.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show,
All right.
we are
Here
reconnecting
we
you now.
go. The closer, Jay Boogie from North Carolina. Jay Boogie, what's good, bro?
Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's. I see I got my favorite guy up in here, the young Franco Harris, man. Salute to you, man. Good seeing you, know what I'm saying?
What up, Jay
It's been a minute
Boogie?
since I seen you aboard, man. You've been hanging out somewhere during the off season. It's the on season, man. We need you always putting in that work. Chip, what's good with you, man? I see you up there, man, making your debut. You dropping a lot of jewels. I need one of them chains so I can put it on my neck and let it dangle, man. And shout out to the GM, man. You CP, my man, you know what I'm saying? A great man that is right there. And Super Day, the board, man. Y'all know what it is. Get them thumbs up. Get them like buttons up, man. Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S. Before I go any further real quick, you know what I'm saying? I want to send a special, you know what I'm saying, point to the air, to the heavens, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to my man, Biz Markie. For those that don't know, appreciate Biz Markie. I'm going to tell you what Biz Mark is. Biz Mark was to the rap game what Muhammad Ali was to the boxing game, what Jim Brown was to the football game, what Michael Jordan was to the NBA, what Denzel is to the movie theater, you know what I'm saying? Straight like that, man. So you got to respect, salute that, man. Shout out to, you know what I'm saying, the animal, the rhyme animal, Chuck D. Love and love and love to all y'all. Shout out to CK2K. Shout out to Ashley, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody in the chat real quick. I'm not gonna hold anybody up. But what's wrong? Why ain't nobody talking about Luka no more? You know what I'm saying? He don't, slid off to the side, man. When I see what that guy's looking for a position to be in. That guy wants his own team. Because where he playing at with them guys he playing with over there, that's not his team. So, he just playing his role. Watch out for Luka. I like his on-the-ball defense and all that. Yeah. Don't keep sleeping on him, you know what I'm saying? But besides that, I want to stick to the course. Stick to the strip. Stick to, you know what I'm saying, what's been working, man. Keep getting these young guys and building and building and building. And number 19, 21, and 32, I'm going to give you my draft order just like that because I'm down here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I know what that boy Trey Murphy is down here doing in the St. All Summer League. He's tearing the courts up. So I like Trey Murphy. And then go ahead and give me that boy, man. And with that 32nd pick, I'm going to go get another big man. Give me that boy Jericho Sims. That's three young characters that can go at this team. Now take a look at what you got. You know what I'm saying? You got Quickley. You got RJ. You got Obi. You got Jericho. You got Murphy. You got Trey Mann. Am I missing a couple of other young boys? Anyway, those guys right there, that's a young course for years and years and years and years and years to come. I don't hit every position there is on the floor for all 5 of them guys right there, and let that big time crop come in 2023. That's how you prepare yourself, you know what I'm saying? All that going to do all this old trading and giving away draft picks and all that, but somebody we don't even know if we're going to keep him there. That man, he couldn't even learn the point guard roles up under, the man that killed us for a championship. Yeah, I'm talking about Avery Johnson. He couldn't learn the point guard roles from him. So he couldn't learn the point guard role in Cleveland. That's why nobody want to play with him, man. We need a point guard, you know what I'm saying, on this squad. I don't need no 6'2" shooting guard, man. He don't do nothing in the league, a shooting 2, a 6'2". Nah, at the wings, you got to be big if you want to be on that wing doing anything with these guys. If not, you're a point guard, I ain't going to hold y'all up. I want y'all to have a great night, you know what I'm saying? Continue on staying healthy and continue on staying safe, you know what I'm saying? God bless you all, man. Peace to everybody that's watching and hanging on to the show. 2 fingers stuck together. Peace.
Jay Boogie had to jump back on the line and make sure that he closed the show. I didn't even see him on the switchboard. Salute to Dave for giving me a reminder. Super producer Dave, as Jay Boogie calls him. Appreciate it, Dave. I didn't even see you on there, Jay Boogie, man. Appreciate the call. Appreciate the love. So Jay Boogie says he's going Murphy, he's going Mann, and he's going Jericho Sims at the 5. I am curious to see if they do try to go get a backup 5, because you just don't know what the Mitch situation is going to be. I don't think they spend money on Nerlens Noel. He gave us a great year. He held it down, no doubt about it. I don't think they go there. So it's going to be interesting to see who they bring in as a backup 5. I don't know. Maybe JaVale McGee or something. Dwight Howard. Who knows, man? Who knows? Who knows, man? All right, people. That was a great show. Let me get back my closing music, and then we'll close out with these guys once again. Thanks for the super chat. Smarty Jones, he says, go Knickerbockers. Rob Clark Jr., thanks for the super chat. Rob Clark also says, Devontae Graham should be a trade target. Had some hype, but was buried on the Charlotte bench. I think he could flourish in New York, and he's cheap. Fellas, quick thoughts on Devontae Graham. Quick thoughts, Chip.
Oh, man, you're asking the right guy.
Do we need to table this for another day? But go ahead, Chip, because
I'm a huge Devontae Graham fan, so
Okay.
I'll be writing about Devontae Graham for the site.
Let's go.
I love Devontae.
Let's go. Next piece coming up on KnicksFanTV.com.
Yeah, I love Devontae.
Yeah, man. And once free agency kicks off, we'll bring these guys back on. We'll talk. We'll go through positions. Talk about who we want, so you guys can call in there as well. And remember, these guys will be back on with us for the draft show. 10 days away from the NBA draft. So make sure you guys keep it locked, man. And once again, the team is expanding, team is growing. We're bringing some great minds, some passionate Knicks fans to the team. And so we're only going to get better and keep growing. So continue to support. And remember, if you guys work at the Apple Store, man, hit me up pronto. I need that info. Very important, because I'm glad this thing took us to the end. But we're on our last legs here. So tune in Thursday, Derek Murray, basketball.com. And Babcock Hoops coming in for the draft Q&A. Chip, just let them know where they can find you on Twitter real quick, bro.
I'm at ChipMurphy7 on Twitter, and it's Knicks State of Mind podcast.
Knicks State of Mind podcast.
Thanks for having me on, CP. This was great, man.
Absolutely, man. Alex, go ahead and sign out, man. Let the people know where they can find you, bro.
Always appreciate coming on. Chip, CP, great talking with Knicks with you guys. Love it as always. And salute to the mods out there and Knicks Nation in general. All right. And you guys can find me over at Hoops Habit. You guys can find me over at KnicksFanTV.com. We got some great content coming through at that website. So please make sure to go check it out. Top of that, you can go find the podcast, Knicks, Jets, etc. on all streaming platforms.
Yes, sir. And DJ's, man, will I be in Barclays for the draft? Nah, I'll be here for the draft, man. It's a good time being at Barclays, but the only thing is you guys know I like to live stream from wherever I'm at. Barclays is like a concrete piece of junk. I mean, it's Barclays anyway. It's a piece of junk arena, but there's literally the Wi-Fi is terrible. So I don't want to do that again. I did it twice. Certain areas, yeah, you'll get good reception, but my Sweet Connect is no longer there, so you got to be downstairs with the people, and the Wi-Fi is just not good enough. So we'll be here with a good system, good Wi-Fi, and we'll have a great panel and a great time. So make sure you guys tune in for that. Remember, this show is brought to you by Manscaped, fellas. Go out there and go get that Lawnmower 4.0. Trust me, you won't regret it. And check out the Performance Package 4.0 as well, man. It's a great deal. Go to manscaped.com, enter promo code Knicks for 20% off plus free shipping. And also remember that this show is available in audio podcast format, all the major podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Alexa, Stitcher, on the KnicksFanTV. So we will see you guys Thursday. Derek Murray, basketballnews.com.